Discovering the passion and potential that is stored within individuals is the task that John Jaramillo has as a leadership coach and development consultant. He shared his experiences in coaching people to reach their potential with Connecting Points, Veronica Garcia.
I decided to be a coach, started very far back, short version. My parents are immigrants to this country, blue-collar workers. They've worked in factories their entire time here. My best friend's mother worked in a hotel, so I worked in those two environments, and it was very much about the client, making sure that the client had what they needed. If it was in a factory, the parts. If it was in a hotel, making sure their experience was the right way, clean, everything sorted. Then you go through your life. Everybody can relate to this. Different bosses. What did they do right? What did they do wrong? How would you have corrected it? So I had my base on the quality when I was younger. As I went through my career, I just watched bosses. I was very shy and introverted as a kid, so I always just paid attention to people. And then I graduated college, and then later I went into organizational psychology's master's at the University of Hartford, and then I went for my master's in business administration at the University of Hartford. When I was in that first program, I got a lot of questions. What is that program? What does it mean? What do you cover? So I got a lot of questions from friends. Can we sit down just so I can pick your brain? I have an issue at work, an issue with a boss. I'm a new leader. Can you help me? Little by little, it rolled out to more and more people hearing about it and then just developing a business. And then based on all my experiences to date in my life, that was just, this is who I am. This is just a perfect fit for me, myself. When you're working on something that you love, it's not work anymore. I mean, I think about it day and night because for me, luckily, it's an extension of who I am. But I've just seen when people are not happy in their job. For instance, there's something I saw online recently where people aren't engaged in their work. Sometimes it may mean you're in the wrong work. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So me, I get a lot of energy from doing this, but typically it's just very important to have that tie to what you're doing because it gives you more energy for it.
In working with people, how do you challenge them to make them better?
Asking a lot of questions. The work in general is a lot of questions, but I ask a lot of questions obviously because I need to get to know who they are, what they need. And it's amazing that in the course of my working with them, how much they learn about themselves. What's interesting is that I also have a podcast where I interview leaders, and these are people that are established in their fields. And by the time that we finish the interview, because I've asked them the same questions you're asking me, why do you do what you do? How did you get into this? What the why? Not so much that you've had success, but what drove you to what you do now? By the end of the interview, they're like, I didn't even think about it in that manner. I didn't put together that story until we sat down. So it's a lot of finding out what somebody's all about and challenging them. Is this what you want? Is this where you want to be? Are you providing your best value?
Well, it's a difference between mentor and coach.
Yeah.
Because now we can go and take those kind of careers in a university. But what about mentors?
Mentors, they don't necessarily need to be have a degree or anything of that field. You can have a general mentor where it's just somebody that's kind of watching your progress, somebody you trust, to make sure that you're thinking about your life the right way. They don't need to have the answers, but at least making sure that you're doing the right things. So a coach is more asking for the person to realize it themselves. A mentor is more, I've gone through it, have you thought about it this way, and kind of more guidance. So coaching is more asking questions to make sure that they can do it themselves at a later date, where mentoring is more asking questions, but at the same time, because I've been through it, maybe you want to consider it doing this way. Mm-hmm. So it is more telling than asking as opposed to coaching.
So what it will be, for example, if I hire you as my mentor, give me 3 benefits that I will have from that conversation or training.
You mean as a coach?
As a coach.
As a coach, benefits that you have a partner that you can reach out to with questions. Somebody, because a lot of people, they work, they go home. Oftentimes the worlds don't crisscross. So it helps to have somebody that you trust, that you can just run something by. So maybe you don't feel comfortable going into a problem you have at work with your spouse. A coach can be that. So it's a sounding board. A coach can also outline things about yourself and just point them out by asking what your strengths are. and a coach can help you look for options. There's so much more that people don't see when they're just sitting by themselves thinking about life, or with a friend or with a boss or with a family member, because no one is really unbiased. Somebody is a coworker. They are your boss. They are their family. They want the best for you, or whatever other reason that they have for being by your side, but they need somebody that's going to be unbiased, objective, and honest. So those are the benefits, is kind of putting a mirror up to what's going on and then finding some options for how to proceed forward.
And I don't think we need to be in the bottom line of our lives to hire someone to coach us, as maybe in our career, maybe in our personal lives, but it will be the balance of understand where I am now.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of it is really where people want to be, where they are now, and what has to happen in between. So it's not like and a lot of it is improvement. A lot of it doesn't have to be you get a coach when there's an issue, when there's a problem. A lot of people that I've worked with, their bosses have brought me in to work with them because they see something in this person that they just need to refine. So it's not like you get a coach only when something bad has happened, but when you want to build. So a lot of the times that I talk to groups, a lot of my writing is about building what you already have. It's not, very rarely is it coming in to fix something that's broken, because we have to be honest, sometimes something can't be saved. And it's easy to say it now, but in case by case, you say, even as a boss or as a management consultant, whatever it may be, this is the situation, this isn't right. So as much as coaching is about building off what you can, it's also about realizing what you have to let go of.